I'm Richard's son-in-law, and about 41 years and 3 weeks ago, I stood in Richard's living room and convinced him that even though his daughter had only known me 3 weeks, there was no way she could find a better husband. At the time, I was a young naval aviation cadet. The fact that Richard believed me was my first indication he was not near as smart as Gail said he was. Who told you that? Now, I wasn't really there to get his permission because I'd already impressed Gail by tuning up her old Chevy 2 car. She was so impressed that she was ready to marry me, which gives you some idea how desperate the graduates of Florida State University were back in 1964. But in any case, my real reason for going to his house was that I'm from Kansas, where we have no water, and I assumed naturally that anybody who lived on the water in Florida and Jacksonville was wealthy. So I figured now's the time to get my licks in. So shortly thereafter, on the honeymoon, Gail told me the true story. She said, "Well, I hate to tell you this, but only the very poor people lived in Arlington in the old days when my parents lived here." She said, and not only that, the poorest of the poor lived on the river. So that took me back a little bit, and that also explained why Hartley lived right next to her too. But in any case, I thought, well, all is not lost. At least I have 3 new brother-in-laws that will provide me some help through life. I mean, his first son, Richard, we called Vic. He was big as a tree, strong as an ox, and I assumed Gail and I would be moving a lot, and we need some strong hands to move furniture. As it turned out, of course, Dick was too smart. He was never around when we were loading the U-Haul trucks. Not only that, he turned out to be a Redskin and a New York Yankee fan, which was a total loss as far as I was concerned. So then there was Richard's second son, Malcolm, who, as many of you know, was a big shot sanitation engineer with somewhere in Alabama. has advanced degrees from the University of Florida. And I thought, okay, here is a perfect brother-in-law to have anytime my septic backs up. Because this guy knows everything there is to know about sanitation. Well, in 41 years Gail and I have been married, we've had 4 houses with backed up septics, and not once has Malcolm shown up to tell me he unplugged those septic pipes. So that was a bit of a disappointment, and I think now, we visited his house once, his new house by the river near Mobile, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't even have a septic. He just has a big pipe going down to the river. Then, of course, there was Richard's third son, Kenneth. He's, as many of you know, a semi-well-known landscape architect. Mostly well-known, as it turned out, I found later, for designing all of those handicapped parking spaces next to Walmart. In fact, there's so many of them that those of us who are not handicapped yet have to walk about half a mile to get to the front door. But I thought, well, that's okay. At least now that Gail and I have our retirement cabin in West Virginia, out in the boondocks, we have 16 acres of God's country out there, and perfect chance for Kenneth to come and show us how to lay out the landscape. Well, of course, he hasn't been